Air Guard News. This is First Air Force Now.
Hello, and welcome again to another edition of First Air Force Now. I'm Master Sergeant Jerry Harlan. A hero's welcome greeted a group of Montana airmen when they returned home after completing a 6-month deployment in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson reports.
14 120th Security Forces Squadron personnel stepped off of a commercial airliner shortly after midnight at the Great Falls International Airport and met a reception party made up of family, friends, and 120th Fighter Wing leadership. During the deployment, the airmen served in nearly every facet of the Security Forces career field. Many of the Guard personnel served alongside members of the Active Duty Air Force and the Air Force Reserve. This arrangement allowed them to learn new career field techniques and share their experiences with their counterparts.
I've been waiting for this deployment my whole career. It gives me a sense of pride, and I brought back a lot of things that we learned from there, hopefully to just better our unit as a whole. A lot of good experiences.
The senior, more experienced members of the group had deployed before, but this represented the first overseas deployment for the newest members of the group. Most of the airmen agreed it was the longest trip they had spent away from family and friends. The returning troops appreciated the reception provided during their late-night arrival at the airport.
That was actually very surprising. I was moved, actually. It was awesome. I was not expecting as many people as there were. It was awesome.
The recently returned Security Forces members are planning to take some well-deserved time off now that they are back in the Big Sky country of Montana. In Great Falls, Montana, this is Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson reporting.
Every September, Americans pause to remember the victims of the nation's worst terrorist attack. Captain Jared Scott brings the story from Tyndall Air Force Base.
On the 12th anniversary of 9/11, America's AOC held a solemn ceremony to commemorate the tragic events of that day.
On September 11, 2001, at 8:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, American Airlines Flight 11, bound for Los Angeles, California, carrying 87 people, crashed into the World Trade Center's North Tower. Only 17 minutes later, United Airlines Flight 175, also bound for Los Angeles, carrying 60 passengers, crashed into the south face of the South Tower. And then, at 9:37 Eastern Time, American Airlines Flight 77, destined for Los Angeles, carrying 57 people, crashed into the west side of the Pentagon. At 9:45, the United States airspace is ordered to shut down. And at 9:58, the first tower collapses. Only 5 minutes later, United Airlines Flight 93, bound for San Francisco, carrying 41 people, crashed into a field in Shakesville, Pennsylvania. And at 10:20, the second tower collapses. As a result, over 3,000 people perished from these 9/11 terrorist attacks.
Colonel Thomas Cucci, Commander 601st AOC, explained the combined military response on that historic day.
It was a day that saw NORAD, active duty, Guard and Reserve units unite and generate more than 300 alert fighters and nearly 100 tankers in the first 24 hours. A day that shut down all U.S. air traffic in our skies, and in coordination with the FAA, established fighter air patrols, tankers, and AWACS over 16 metropolitan areas. September 11, 2001 is most assuredly on the list of life-changing events in U.S. history. Today is a stark reminder of what happened 12 years ago today. And every day we are reminded of September 11, 2001 when we walk by this memorial or witness the pictures inside the hallways of the AOC. It reminds us, and it is a reminder that our mission is enduring and that it serves our nation's needs.
1st Air Force AF North Commander, Lieutenant General William Etter, stressed continued vigilance by the men and women of today's military.
We should not live in fear, but live in vigilance. Not fear, vigilance. There is a difference. 9/11 has transformed our military into the most powerful and experienced air force and military the world has ever known. As the President said last night, we don't do pinpricks. Having been in the ACA business world for 12 years now, I have watched the remarkable advancements in command, control, and response that the folks in this building right behind me can do. Don't ever forget that we always need to be moving the bar higher and faster than those that would attack us. What you do at Kona every day has our defense on the line. Thank you for what you do. I'd ask you all to say a prayer tonight for all that were killed and injured, not only in the 9/11 attacks, but in the conflict since. May God bless the United States of America.
Reporting for 1st Air Force Now, I'm Captain Jared Scott.
During a recent tour, Hurlburt Field, Florida welcomed the Acting Secretary of the Air Force. Airman First Class Robert Mason tells the story.
The Acting Secretary of the Air Force visited Hurlburt Field, Florida. The Honorable Eric K. Fanning toured facilities and spent several hours flying on the CV-22 and AC-130U aircraft.
They were just showing me a picture when I was getting off the gunship after, it's a 2-hour flight down here and then 3.5 hours of additional flight time here doing fun stuff. And I look like a 5-year-old boy grinning from ear to ear, so my new favorite visit.
While visiting with Hurlburt's airmen and Air Force civilians, Mr. Fanning gave a speech where he commended their performance, even in the face of recent military budget cuts.
We're going to do what we can to try and avoid putting you through anything like this again. And again, thank you for focus on the mission.
Mr. Fanning also had the chance to eat lunch with enlisted airmen at the dining facility. He says he is already making plans to return to the base. Airman First Class Robert Mason, Hurlburt Field, Florida.
For one member of the Oklahoma Air National Guard, Fit to Fight takes a year-round effort. Senior Master Sergeant Preston Chastain reports from Oklahoma.
Fit to fight is a phrase that is often used when referencing the physical readiness of Air Force personnel. For Master Sergeant Derek Hildebrandt, the 138th Fighter Wing Career Enhancement NCOIC, the mantra Fit to Fight takes on a whole new meaning as Master Sergeant Hildebrandt trains year-round to compete in marathons and triathlons.
Fitness is, to me, it's not a one-time a year thing, it's a lifetime event. So, training every week is training day to day. It's more just a discipline. That way you're not having to think about it just once a year to try to pass a fitness test. But for me, you just go out there and do it because you're training all year long. Yeah, well, the PT test is, 1.5 mile run. This triathlon is a 750 meter swim, 20 kilometer bike, and 5K run. And so you put those three together and you're having to train for all three of those events. And so what it makes is it makes the mile and a half fitness test simple. It makes it easy. You don't have to train for it really because all year long you're training for the triathlon.
Master Sergeant Hildebrandt not only enjoys the competition, but also relishes in the opportunity to interact with athletes from surrounding communities and states, all the while being a positive representation of Air National Guard personnel. Whether deployed or at home, the citizen airmen of the 138th Fighter Wing once again demonstrate their value by being fit to fight should they be called to duty. Reporting for the Oklahoma Air National Guard, I'm Senior Master Sergeant Preston Chastain.
I'm an American airman. I'm a warrior.
I'm a guardian of freedom and justice. My nation's
sword and shield, its sentry and avenger.
I'm a wingman and a leader. I will never leave an airman behind.
I will never falter, and I will not fail. I am an American airman.
I am fit to fight. Are you?
Once a soldier.
A soldier for life.
With a historic final flight to the U.S. Air Force National Museum, the North Dakota Air National Guard bid farewell to their last C-21 aircraft and marked the end of a 66-year history of manned flying missions. Sergeant First Class Amy Weezer-Wilson has the story.
With a historic final flight to the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force, the North Dakota Air National Guard bid farewell to its last C-21 aircraft and marked the end of a 66-year history of manned flying missions.
Well, we stand here today at the end of an era and at the beginning of a new life for the North Dakota Air National Guard.
The 119th Wing of the North Dakota Air National Guard, known as the Happy Hooligans, started flying and maintaining fighter aircraft in 1947, when it welcomed its first P-51 Mustang. Over the years, missions and aircraft changed, but the unit's record of excellence remained constant.
Please raise your glasses and toast the best fighter unit on planet Earth.
The Hooligans transitioned from fighter aircraft to the C-21 in 2007 and continued their tradition of success, earning the Joint Operations Support Airlift Center, JOSAC, Squadron of the Year in 2009. The 119th Wing amassed more than 17,000 hours in the aircraft without a Class A mishap, and added to its overall total of more than 175,000 accident-free flying hours.
Almost 20 years of accident-free flying. 20 years. Now that's flying continuously, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, for 20 years.
Ready?
Wow.
The C-21 departure makes North Dakota the only state in the nation without an Air National Guard manned flying mission. Reporting for 1st Air Force Now, I'm Sergeant First Class Amy Weezer-Wilson.
The director of the Air National Guard recently visited 3 Air Guard bases in Illinois. Senior Master Sergeant Glenn Neal with the 182nd Airlift Wing reports from Peoria.
Air National Guard Director Lieutenant General Stanley Clark visited various Illinois Air National Guard bases on September 5th and 6th, 2013. General Clark is the new director of the Air National Guard and oversees its plans, policies, and resources, which include more than 100,000 Air Guard members. While in Illinois, the General visited the 126th Air Refueling Wing at Scott Air Force Base, the 183rd Fighter Wing in Springfield, and the 182nd Airlift Wing in Peoria. Getting out and meeting airmen at their bases is a top priority for the General.
The opportunity for me to get outside the Pentagon and actually visit with the Air National Guard is important to me as a director of the Air National Guard. When I work with the Air Force on issues concerning the total force, particularly as it applies to the Air National Guard, it's important for me to have the perspectives of the commanders, supervisors, first sergeants, airmen themselves that are actually in the Air National Guard out in the States. You can tell more when you actually get to visit units and members and tell a morale of the unit, how proud they are of what they do, and that's important for me to understand where the unit is with regard to morale.
By visiting these bases, General Clark has personally seen how well the bases function, which include how well the bases do on their inspections and how well the bases are being operationally engaged.
I would tell you every wing I visited here in Illinois, it proved that they are doing that, meeting standards, taking inspections, doing an outstanding job in all the inspections and clearly exceeding them in many cases. You couldn't be prouder of units here in Illinois.
Looking to the future, General Clark stresses the importance of each airman and working together as a team.
I would say continue your service to the state and the nation and continue to be proud airmen and share that with others, not just the others in the Guard, but share it with people outside, that how much it means to you as an individual to be a part of the Air National Guard and the Air Force.
Reporting for 1st Air Force Now, I'm Senior Master Sergeant Glenn T. Neal from the 182nd Airlift Wing in Peoria, Illinois.
During a joint exercise, service members took part of the 911th Mass Casualty Exercise. Staff Sergeant Daniel Resnack reports.
Airmen, soldiers, and civilians worked together during a mass casualty exercise at the 911th Airlift Wing. The exercise involved members of the 911th Airlift Wing, the Army's 393rd Medical Logistics Company, and the VA Butler Healthcare System in a simulated disaster response exercise. The 911th's First Lieutenant Bobby Joe Nye says the Army and the VA gained new and valuable experience working with the Air Force Reserve.
They're providing transportation, so they have Humvees. So they're getting the experience of going onto a flight line. Same with the VA. They've never been on a flight line before. So this will help them fulfill the experience so they can pass that on to other VA medical centers and train their people.
The VA assists the military with transportation during a disaster via a large bus which operates as an ambulance carrying up to 10 litters of injured people at a time. Mr. Barry Payung says their bus can be called to action by the military or any civilian government needing assistance.
We would be called upon not only by the Air Force, but any branch of the military or any civilian government, anybody that would need our assistance. We would be available to go in and assist in evacuations.
During the exercise, the casualties were moved from their staging area to a C-130 aircraft for transportation to a facility that would provide definitive medical care. The 911th supports the National Disaster Medical System in response to major emergencies and disasters. Capabilities include receiving, staging, and transporting up to 800 patients in an 8-hour period. The location of the 911th makes it vital to the National Response Framework. Recently, the Department of Veterans Affairs relocated the NDMS headquarters to the 911th Airlift Wing. The exercise evaluates communication, coordination, and patient movement. Reporting from the 911th Airlift Wing, Pennsylvania, I'm Air Force Sergeant Daniel Rusnick.
Members of the Guard, Reserve, and 6 different countries participated in a 2013 International Senior NCO Leadership Seminar. Staff Sergeant Michael Davis reports from Canada.
Recently, Senior Master Sergeant Gerard Garcia was selected along with 9 other Air National Guard and Reserve Senior NCOs to travel to Winnipeg, Canada for the 2013 International Leadership Seminar.
In Lead is, it really brought home the diversity, how important it is, how important everybody's ideas are. Because we have a perception or a way of thinking, other people bring a lot more to it, and your end result usually gets a lot better.
Along with learning from the 6 different countries participating, the seminar proved to be an important opportunity for U.S. Guardsmen and Reservists to better understand their total force relationship.
The Guard is a little bit different. They have a different set of rules that they have to apply, so learning those differences helps that interaction better with some of the other counterparts.
Reporting from Winnipeg, Canada, I'm Staff Sergeant Michael Davis.
Who serves at the Montana Air National Guard? People just like you. People like Jackie Fogarty, daughter and part-time medical administrator. Ed McLean, prior service Marine Corps, Great Falls police officer, and part-time security forces member. Brian Hagee, train engineer and part-time heavy equipment operator. Extraordinary people doing extraordinary jobs. Come join your neighbors, friends, and families as members of the Montana Air National Guard. Call 800-874-7763 or find us on the web at mtairguard.com.
Adjusting the radio. 2 seconds. A sip of soda. 5.5 seconds. Checking a text. 6 seconds. A few seconds of distraction can change a life. Stay alert. Save a life.
A new home, a new mission. The Happy Hooligans are the new team in town. A team of warriors, trained, tested, and equipped. There's a new team in town. You could be one of them. Join the North Dakota Air Guard, the new team in town.
Alexis Maxfield, Crew Chief.
Charlie Post, Services.
Lynn McKinney, Weapons Loader.
William Hafford, Security Forces.
Ron Goodall, Human Resources.
James Cornett, fighter pilot.
Once a soldier.
A soldier for life.
North Dakota Air National Guard members are beginning one of the biggest transitions in the base's history. A redesignation ceremony marked the first official steps for the Happy Hooligans. Sergeant First Class Amy Weezer-Wilson reports.
After 66 years of manned flying missions, the North Dakota Air National Guard has begun a dramatic conversion. The group and squadron that flew and maintained the Happy Hooligans aircraft, from fighters to most recently C-21s, are no more.
177th Airlift Squadron Commander Lieutenant Colonel Jared Kropp will furl the guidon for the 177th Airlift Squadron.
While moods have been dampened by the lack of a manned flying mission, the North Dakota Air National Guard is now looking toward the future as it implements a new intelligence group and 3 squadrons.
We will now witness the redesignation of a new unit in the United States Air Force. The 119th Intelligence Group is being established to exploit all source intelligence to perform target system analysis and target development, involving both kinetic and non-kinetic targeting options to produce desired effects.
I'm very excited about what we're getting ready to launch in Fargo, North Dakota. This is truly a one-of-a-kind opportunity. The Air Force Targeting Center is subordinate to the Air Combat Command, and Air Combat Command is going to be the gaining MAGCOM for the Intel Group, the targeting mission. And they have asked the Air National Guard to go forth and conquer in something that hasn't truly been done yet.
That tasking, just the latest of many firsts for the Happy Hooligans, is the bright light in the future for the North Dakota Air National Guard. Reporting for 1st Air Force Now, I'm Sergeant First Class Amy Weezer-Wilson.
Recently, Army and Air National Guard members competed in the annual tag matches held at Camp Ethan Allen in Jericho, Vermont. Sergeant Jason Alvarez reports.
It only happens once a year, when the Vermont Army and Air National Guard get to test their marksmanship skills against each other. Captain Christopher Reno, commander of the 158th Security Forces, says that while the competition is fierce, they're all on the same team.
I believe it's the last 11 years we've run the Commander's Cup, and we hope to do that again today. I would hope the Army would want to take that away from us. It's all friendly though. There's no animosity on the firing line. We're all one team.
Captain Reno also explained why the Guard holds these competitions.
Marksmanship is a big reason why the tag match happens. Obviously, we're all warriors. We have to be able to effectively use our weapons. But of course, there is the element of competition, and we're very competitive.
Reporting from the Camp Ethan Allen training site in Jericho, Vermont, I'm Army Staff Sergeant Jason Alvarez.
Members of the Combat Operations Training Squadron complete unique training to prepare for deployed missions. Airman First Class Stephen Ellis shows us how crashing cars helps mission readiness.
Deep in the woods on Eglin Air Force Base's range, students of Hurlburt Field's 371st Special Operations Combat Training Squadron found themselves in a car chase.
This particular course is defensive driving. We do numerous things to prepare them for some situations downrange that they may encounter.
Execute.
This is all part of the much larger Combat Aviation Advisor course, which ultimately trains students to work with Allied forces.
Typically in the past, the unit would train members from the 6th Special Operations Squadron to go downrange to perform with partner nation air forces, armies, navies.
But this intense version of bumper cars was just a portion of the day's course. Instructors also set up mock ambushes.
The mission has changed. This is, for all intents and purposes, what is going to happen in a real-world worst-case situation.
Instructors shot students with 9mm and .223 simulation rounds to mock a live attack by oppositional forces. The The class now trains reserve members from other squadrons to meet the increased need for specialized units. Reporting from Hurlburt Field, I'm Airman First Class Stephen Ellis.
At Nellis Air Force Base, airmen work together with Veterans Affairs and Las Vegas medical personnel to treat hundreds of patients during a disaster preparedness exercise. Staff Sergeant Jose Rodriguez reports.
The Michael Callahan Federal Medical Center at Nellis Air Force Base is a federal coordination center. This means in the event of an emergency, Nellis can receive and treat patients from other states.
This is important to our community because of the ability to support the nation as a whole in the case of a national disaster.
Nellis Airmen are working hand in hand with Veteran Affairs and local medical teams to ensure they are ready to deliver that rapid assistance.
We all have to work together in a disaster scenario, and knowing what each other has and brings to the table is important in making sure that this is a success.
In this scenario, there is a major power outage in Phoenix, Arizona, forcing a large hospital to transport all their patients here to Nellis to receive immediate care.
The ability to train and execute the plans that are in place, and even to sharpen our skills and make sure that when and if something does happen in the future as far as disasters go, that we will be prepared.
Over 250 patients were triaged and prepared for transport in a matter of hours.
Overall, the goal is, should this really happen, we'll be prepared to respond to that medical emergency and help as many people as we can.
Exercises like this train airmen today for the unknown challenges of tomorrow. Staff Sergeant Jose Rodriguez, Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada.
The outdoor adventure, named Camp Runamucka, attracted 76 campers this year to participate in the week-long program, which is traditionally held during the last week of June.
Camp Runamucka is an opportunity for National Guard children and youth to spend a week of time together and have fun and just be in a supportive environment with other Guard kids.
While at camp, the campers are treated to activities that range from hiking and archery to arts and crafts. Special attention is given to address issues related to the deployments their family members have participated in.
One of the challenges that we have here is the kids are coming up here and they're feeling a wide range of emotions about parents being deployed, possibly being deployed, just returning from deployment. And so you get a lot of teenagers with these emotions that are coming out.
A wide range of talent and experience is shared with the campers by staff members who volunteer to help run the camp each year. Medical professionals, cooks, mechanics, and public affairs specialists were just some of the professions represented by the staff.
You know, it's being involved with the kids. I love they develop this camaraderie with each other like we do in the military when we're deployed. I love watching them group together and become close friends, and it's friendships that last for a long time. It's great to be a part of that.
Many of the volunteers are members of the Montana National Guard and have had their children attend the camp. At Camp Runamucka, this is Senior Master Sergeant Eric Peterson reporting.
I'm Master Sergeant Jerry Harlan, and that wraps up another edition of 1st Air Force Now. To help us tell your story, contact the 1st Air Force News Director. And to all the men and women who are making sacrifices at home and abroad, thanks. We'll see you again soon with another edition of 1st Air Force Now.